Be me. 35F, project manager at tech startup in San Francisco. Been working in Bay Area for 10 years climbing the ladder. Typical Silicon Valley grind, 60-hour weeks, always on call. Startup culture means no real boundaries between work and life. I'm burned out, exhausted, questioning everything. Read article about French work culture, and it sounds like paradise. 35-hour work week mandated by law. 5 weeks minimum vacation. People actually take it. Right to disconnect, can't be contacted after work hours. This is exactly what I need to save my sanity. Start applying to jobs in Paris. Get offer from mid-sized French tech company. Project manager role. Managing software development team. Salary is less than San Francisco, but cost adjusted it's fine. They emphasize work-life balance in the interview. Tell me nobody works weekends, lunch breaks are sacred. I accept immediately. This is my escape from burnout. Friends throw going away party, everyone envious. You're so lucky, they say. French have it figured out. I believe them, pack my life into suitcases. Fly to Paris in September. Company sets me up in Marais. Start work on Monday at their office in La Défense. Arrive at 8:45 a.m. feeling good about punctuality. Office is nearly empty. People trickle in until 9:30. Nobody seems concerned about this. My manager Francois arrives at 9:15, greets everyone individually. Shaking hands, doing cheek kisses with some people. Takes him 15 minutes to get to his desk. In San Francisco, this would waste precious morning time. Here it seems to be expected ritual. First team meeting at 10 a.m. to discuss new project. I present my initial timeline and milestones. Very organized, clear deadlines, action items. The team immediately starts debating every single point. Not in a collaborative way, more like philosophical arguments. One developer questions the entire premise of the timeline. Another wants to discuss whether this project even makes sense. I'm confused. We're here to plan execution, not debate purpose. Meeting goes 2 hours. We make 0 concrete decisions. Francois says we'll continue discussion next week. I ask when we're actually going to decide and start work. He looks at me strangely. We are working. This is the process. Week 1, and I'm trying to understand the workflow. People take full hour lunch breaks, often longer. They leave the office, go to actual restaurants. Some come back at 2:30. Nobody seems to care. I eat a salad at my desk, trying to catch up. Multiple coworkers stop by looking concerned. You're not eating properly. This isn't healthy. In America, eating at your desk shows dedication. Here, it apparently shows I don't value myself. Friday afternoon at 5 p.m., I'm still at my desk working. Office empties out in 15 minutes. By 5:30, I'm literally the only person left. Security guard asks if I know the building closes at 7. In San Francisco, this would be early. Here I'm the weird one. Month 2, and I'm noticing the hierarchy. My title is chef de projet, project manager, but I have 0 actual authority to make decisions. Everything goes up to Francois, who's the N+1. Then often up to his manager, the N+2. Simple decisions take weeks because of approval chains. I suggest we could move faster with more autonomy. Francois looks uncomfortable. That's not how we do things. Each level has specific responsibilities and authority. You don't overstep. You respect the structure. This is opposite of flat startup culture I came from. Month 3 and project is behind schedule. We've had 6 meetings, still don't have final specifications. Every meeting turns into debate about methodology. French team loves to question and philosophize. I'm trying to move toward execution and deliverables. They think I'm being too American, too focused on action. One developer tells me directly, "You don't understand French culture. We value thought and debate, not just doing things." I'm frustrated. We have deadlines and clients waiting. He shrugs. The client can wait. We need to do it right. This would never fly in an American workplace. Month 4, and I try to assert more project authority. Start making decisions and communicating them directly. Skip some of the approval chain to move faster. This causes major problems. Francois pulls me aside, looking genuinely upset. You went around me to the development team. That's not acceptable. It undermines the hierarchy. I explain I was just trying to keep project moving. He's firm. In France, we have structure for a reason. You cannot just decide things because you're impatient. I have to apologize to the team in next meeting. This is humiliating. I'm a senior project manager. In San Francisco, I'd have full authority over my projects. Here I'm basically just facilitating meetings. Month 5, and I'm struggling with the culture. People leave at 5 or 6 p.m. every single day. Nobody checks email in evenings or weekends. I tried sending Friday evening email once. Got reply Monday morning very curtly saying, I don't respond to professional communication outside work hours. This is protected by law. Please respect it. Part of me loves this boundary. Part of me is frustrated by how slow everything moves. My manager Francois goes on 3-week vacation. All his projects just pause completely while he's gone. Nobody has authority to make decisions in his absence. We literally sit and wait for him to return. In America, we'd have backup coverage and delegation. Here, the hierarchy means work stops without the manager. Month 6 and major client issue comes up. Software has bug that's affecting their business. In San Francisco, we'd all stay late to fix it. Push update through, do whatever it takes. Here at 6 p.m., the developers leave for the day. I'm panicking. The client is calling upset. One developer explains calmly before leaving. It will be fixed, but we don't sacrifice our lives. The work will be here tomorrow. Client will have to understand we have boundaries. I'm shocked by how unconcerned everyone is. The bug gets fixed over the next 3 days. Client is unhappy, but accepts this is how things work. In America, this would cost us the client. Here it's just normal pace of work. Month 7, and I attend industry conference in Paris. Other American expats share similar experiences. One woman worked at French bank for 2 years. She says the hierarchy is even worse in traditional companies. Can't make any decision without 3 levels of approval. Another woman worked at advertising agency. Says she finally learned to embrace the lunch culture. Stop fighting it and actually enjoy the work-life balance. But she admits projects take twice as long as in America. I'm realizing this is the trade-off. Better boundaries, but much slower execution. Month 8, and something happens that shifts my perspective. One of my French coworkers, Marie, is a senior developer. She's talented, been at company for 8 years. I ask her why she hasn't moved into management. She looks at me like I'm crazy. Why would I want that? She asks. I like coding. Management is different career track. Once you're on management track, you can't switch back. In America, we see management as progression. Here, it's literally a different career. Technical and management tracks are separate. People stay in their lane for entire careers. This explains why it's so hard to change anything. Everyone is specialized in their hierarchical role. Month 9, and I'm invited to executive presentation. My project is being reviewed by senior leadership. I prepare detailed slides, data, recommendations. In San Francisco, I'd present directly. Here, Francois presents everything. I'm literally not allowed to speak unless asked. He's the N+1, so he owns all communication up. I sit there while he presents my work, sometimes getting details wrong. I can't interrupt or correct him. That would be disrespecting the hierarchy. After presentation, the executives have questions. They direct them to Francois. He doesn't know the technical details. Turns to me and says, "You can answer this." I explain the technical implementation. Executive cuts me off midway through. Addresses the rest of his question to Francois. Even though I'm the one with the information. This is crushing. I'm just a prop in my own presentation. Month 10, and I'm having lunch with Marie. Tell her I'm struggling with the structure here. In America, I had so much more autonomy. She listens, then says something that surprises me. You Americans think autonomy means freedom. But actually, it just means you work all the time. Here the structure protects us. I can't be expected to work outside my role. My manager can't make me stay late. The hierarchy means clear boundaries. Your autonomy meant you had no protection. They could demand anything because it's your project. I realize she has a point I hadn't considered. Month 11, and my work style is starting to change. I stop trying to rush through decisions. Start accepting that debate is part of the process. The team seems more comfortable with me. One developer tells me I'm becoming more French. Not sure if that's a compliment or observation. But I'm definitely less stressed than I was in San Francisco. Leave at 6 p.m. every day without guilt. Take my full lunch break at actual restaurants. Stop checking email on weekends completely. My apartment is actually clean because I have time. I cook real meals, not just take out my desk. I read books in the evening instead of working. This is the work-life balance I came for. But the trade-off is my career ambition is basically frozen. Month 12, and it's time for annual review. Francois and I meet to discuss my performance. He's generally positive about my adaptation. Says I've learned to work within French system. My American efficiency combined with French thoughtfulness is becoming valuable to the team. But then he says something that stuns me. You've reached the ceiling of your role here. To advance further, you'd need to become French manager, which requires specific French qualifications and understanding of French labor law. That would take years of additional study. So, you're saying I'm stuck at this level? He nods apologetically, essentially yes. In American company, you could keep climbing. Here the system is more rigid about credentials. This is devastating. I'm only 36. My career is just frozen for as long as I stay. That evening I talked to an American friend who stayed in tech. She's VP now at her San Francisco company. Working 70 hours a week, constantly stressed. Makes twice my salary, has equity worth millions. But she's divorced, has no hobbies, looks exhausted. She asks about Paris if I'm happy. I tell her honestly, it's complicated. I have work-life balance I never had in America. But my career is essentially over. She asks which I value more. I don't have a clear answer. Month 14, and I make peace with the situation. I'm not going to change French corporate structure. It's been this way for decades, probably centuries. The hierarchy, the bureaucracy, the credentials. All of it is deeply embedded in culture. Either I accept it or I leave. I decide to accept it for now. Focus on the benefits instead of the limitations. The 5 weeks vacation I actually take. The 35-hour weeks that are enforced by law. The lunch breaks where I eat real food. The ability to completely disconnect after work. These are real and valuable. Even if my career ambition is frustrated. Month 16, and I'm training new American hire. She's 28, came from Boston tech scene. Full of energy and ideas about improving processes. I watch her have the same collision with hierarchy that I had 18 months ago. She's frustrated by the approval chains, annoyed by the endless debate meetings, confused why she can't just make decisions. I take her for coffee and give her honest advice. This system won't change for you. You can fight it and be miserable, or adapt and find peace with the trade-offs. She asks if I'm happy here. I tell her I'm happier than I was in San Francisco. But it's a different kind of happiness. Less ambitious, more balanced. Less about achievement, more about living. Whether that's right depends on what you value. Year 2, and I'm still in Paris. My French is much better now, helps with integration. I understand the cultural context of the hierarchy. It's not just workplace structure. It's education system, social structure, everything. French society is organized by credentials and titles. Where you went to school determines career ceiling. What degree you have limits your advancement. I don't have French degrees, so I hit that ceiling. But I also have work-life balance. I take 6 weeks vacation now, worked my way up. I leave at 6 p.m. and don't feel guilty. I spend weekends actually living my life. Visit museums, take weekend trips, cook elaborate meals. Things I never had time for in San Francisco. My apartment is beautiful, my life is full. My career is stagnant, but I'm not burned out. American friend whose VP now had health scare. Stress-induced, doctor told her to slow down. She can't. She's in acquisition negotiations. Her company depends on her. She can't step back. I realize I made different choice. Not better or worse, just different. I chose life over career. She chose career over life. Neither of us has both. 2.5 years in, and company restructures. New project, needs experienced manager. Francois recommends me, but HR blocks it. I don't have the right French credentials for higher level. This is the ceiling I was warned about. I can't advance without going back to school. Getting French business degrees. That would take 3 years at minimum. I'm 37 now, that path seems impossible. I have a decision to make. Stay in France with work-life balance, but no growth. Or return to America with career growth, but no balance. Month 30, and I'm back in San Francisco for a visit. Meeting with recruiters about potential return. They're excited about my international experience. French business culture exposure is valuable. I could come back at senior level, maybe director. Salary would be double what I make in Paris. But back to 60-hour weeks. Back to checking email on vacation. Back to eating lunch at my desk. Back to the grind that burned me out before. I walk around San Francisco seeing old colleagues. Everyone looks successful and exhausted. Making great money, achieving impressive things. Also stressed, medicated, divorced, isolated. Return to Paris and walk around my neighborhood. People sitting at cafes at 3 p.m. on Tuesday. Not because they're unemployed. Because work-life balance means actually having life. The baker closes shop for August vacation. The local restaurant is closed Sunday and Monday. Everything moves slower, but people seem happier. Less accomplished maybe, but more present. I realize there's no perfect answer here. Just different trade-offs that suit different priorities. 3 years in, and I'm still here. Decided to stay in France for now. Not because the system is better, but because this trade-off suits me currently. My career is frozen at project manager level. I'll never be VP or executive here, but I have life outside work. I'm learning piano, something I never had time for. I cook dinner parties for friends. I take 3-week vacations and actually disconnect. I sleep 8 hours a night. These things have value even if they don't build career. American friends think I'm wasting my potential. French colleagues think I've finally learned to live. Both perspectives have truth. I'm not achieving what I could in America, but I'm living in ways I couldn't there. The hierarchy that frustrated me now protects me. Can't be promoted easily, but also can't be exploited easily. Can't advance quickly, but also can't be expected to sacrifice endlessly. The structure that limited my ambition also preserves my boundaries. Anyway, that's my story. About taking job in France for work-life balance. And discovering the hierarchy reality. About learning that French system protects and restricts. That you can't have American career trajectory. And European quality of life. You choose which trade-off you want to live with. I chose balance over achievement. Structure over autonomy. Life over career. Not because it's objectively better, but because burnout taught me what I actually value. American system offers unlimited ceiling, if you're willing to sacrifice everything else. French system offers protected boundaries, if you're willing to sacrifice advancement. Neither is wrong, both are incomplete. The paradise I expected doesn't exist. Just different compromises with different costs. I'm still here because for now, these costs are ones I'm willing to pay. But I understand why Americans leave. And why French people don't understand American ambition. We're optimizing for different things entirely.